Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Welcome to the Adventurous Podcast. I'm your host, Deidre Perry, and these are my co-hosts. And weekly, we will be coming to you to bring you the latest information in the world of agriculture. We invite you to join us every Saturday from 10 to 10:30. Join us. Come on, take an adventure.
Welcome to Socrates, Garrett Live. We're here in Jackson, Mississippi, broadcasting to you from our own broadcast studio. We Believe Digital. We have our own network. We're on Roku TV, and we sit right next to Hulu and Netflix. We sit right there as We Believe Digital, right here from Jackson, Mississippi. African American owned network, a complete production studio for all of your needs. We're being heard worldwide. We're on Roku TV, we're on Apple TV, we're on Amazon, we're pushing live to Facebook and YouTube, and to our own network, We Believe Digital. We're being seen by millions and millions of fans, and we're only 60 days old, and we have over 100,000 viewers and growing. It just goes to show you that if you're persistent, if you have a vision, God will put good people in your path to make those things come into fruition. God does not give a vision where he does not provide provision. And that comes in the people that you run into in your daily walks of life. So welcome again to We Believe Digital. This evening I have the honor and the pleasure to have as my guest my friend, a gentleman that was at Alcorn State University way back when we both didn't know what we were going to do in life. But we knew that we had to get busy. We knew that we were in a hurry. We knew that we had to make a difference. And some of us have done more than others, and some of us have accomplished things that had not been accomplished before. I have with me this evening Senator / Commissioner Willie Simmons. Welcome to the show, Commissioner.
It's my honor, Socrates, to be here. And let me say how much I'm appreciative of the fact that you invited me. But also let me congratulate you on what you're doing. This is phenomenal. When we were at Alcorn together, I had no idea that Socrates Garrett would become and do all of the things that I watched you do over the years. And I'm humble to be here with you this evening as we celebrate this new venture and this path that you're on now, because this is a way of communicating to hundreds of thousands. And as you indicated, you're already out there and the message is being sent. And I'm grateful to you for inviting me to be a part of that.
It's good to have you here. Our community needs to know. We've had before you the honor of having Mayor William Truly on, Bishop Crudup was on. Mayor Harvey Johnson visited with us, and I had a wonderful time with John Peoples to talk about how he navigated as president of Jackson State University back through those turbulent times. And there's some stories there, Willie, that you and I probably have forgotten, but we need to be reminded. And for our listening audience that have never heard them before, they need to hear it for the first time. So I want you to tell us, how did Willie Simmons Jr. become a commissioner? What path did you take to get to this station?
Well, I guess I go back to the Bible days, and where the Bible says that I knew who you were before you was in your mother's womb. Mm-hmm. And when I moved from there to having grown up in Utica, Mississippi, right outside of Jackson, on a farm, and on those long roads, picking and chopping cotton, but there was a highway, Highway 27, that went right past the field that I was playing. And what would intrigue me oftentimes was to watch the 18-wheelers going past. And I would say, man, I wish I was one of those drivers of that 18-wheeler, okay? And then there would be an airplane that would fly over the field. Not necessarily because it was doing that, but just the pathway to the airport. And I would look up and say, I wish I was flying that airplane. Mm-hmm. So those two means of transportation, which is very vital and very important to the safety movement of the citizen, but also the movement of our commerce in a cotton field where I had no idea that I would ever become a transportation commissioner. I was watching that kind of a movement. And then when we think about the fact that our bridge situation is in such great need of repair and the infrastructure that goes on around that, remembering back to that cotton field where we had this little bridge that my father and the two other men who grew cotton and corn had to build bridges across the little creeks, and they would do what we refer to as maintenance on those bridges during the winter months so that those bridges could be available. So, I guess going through that from being in my mother's womb and then watching the airplane and the 18-wheelers and my father's dealing with the bridge situation, it's ideal for setting the stage for me to become transportation commissioner. However, I had no way of knowing that that's where I was headed in life. And then after being elected to the state senate some 27 years ago, and was always on the appropriation committee, so I always had an opportunity to take a look at transportation and vote for the appropriation and learn about what was going on in the transportation infrastructure system. And then 10 years ago, I was appointed to be the chairperson of the subcommittee on appropriation that handled the transportation budget. That budget, $1 billion or more each year, that I, a little old poor guy who used to watch airplanes fly over the fields and watch the 18-wheelers, I'm now putting together the budget for the Transportation Department in the state of Mississippi. And then when Tate Reed became lieutenant governor, he appointed me to serve as the chairperson of the Transportation Committee. So I was on not only serving as chairperson of the Policy Committee, but also of the Appropriation Committee. So I was putting together the policies and putting together the budget for 8 years prior to deciding that I was going to run for the commissioner. So when I ran for the commissioner position, I could reflect back on that bridge, because we was talking about a lot of bridges, and the federal government was coming into the state of Mississippi and closing bridges. I could reflect back on the fact that Mississippi was not doing the proper planning like my father and those two other men were in maintaining the bridges and the highways in the manner in which they should. So now it is costing us a lot of money to catch up. So going all the way back, I did not know it, but here I am today as a result of those experiences.
Wow. So to young folk out there, what would you say to them in terms of where you came from against all odds, out of Utica, Mississippi, picking cotton, being poor? What would you say to our youth out there?
I would say cast your vision. Cast your vision, because the Bible also tells us that if you have a vision, those who don't have it will perish. But if you have a vision and you write it down, people will run, and they run to and with you on that vision. Cast your vision as a young person and decide that you want to be something greater than what you are today. Although you may not know exactly where that map is going to take you, where that vision is going to take you, but the fact that you have it, it causes you never to give up. It causes you to run. It causes you to be motivated to get to where it is that you're going with that vision, and it'll pay off for you.
Wow. That's good advice to the youth out there and to adults as well. Cast your vision. Willie, so many of our folk have lost hope, find themselves in a situation where they're unable to cast a vision or to even see a better day. What do you think they should do?
Pull the scalp back from over your eyes. Take a look at where you are. Understand that you've had challenges, and many of those challenges have been very difficult. Some of them become barriers and walls that you feel that you could never overcome. But just understand, and if you want to go to a gospel song, you can sing the song, Climbing the Rough Side of the Mountain.
Coming up the rough side of the mountain.
Because life sends you to those kind of changes. And the ministers in many cases will say to you,
hold that point for me right there. Since we were up on a break, want to stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Welcome to the Adventurous Podcast. I'm your host, Deidre Perry, and these are my co-hosts. And weekly, we will be coming to you to bring you the latest information in the world of agriculture. We invite you to join us every Saturday from 10 to 10:30. Join us. Come on, take an adventure.
Hill Hoppers, the Black Wall Street Digital Financial Revolution National Bus Tour, led by cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, NFT expert Naja Roberts. The informational rally is to provide you with info on the digital wallet and cryptocurrency. Naja Roberts will be here on Tuesday, May 4th, 3 p.m. at Socrates Garrett Enterprises, 2659 Livingston Road, Jackson, Mississippi. Bring your rally signs for equal pay, $15 minimum wage, and mask up. Build wealth, build self, build community. Black Cash Matters. The revolution will be digitized. Follow us on Instagram at Black Cash Matters, at Hill Hopper, at Naja Roberts, at Navon Love, at 2KGPR. Join the community and the movement, thebblackwallstreet.com. Thank you to the brand partners Crypto Blockchain Plug, Crypto Kids Camp, Socrates Garrett Enterprises, and WeBelieveDigital.com.
Willie, we're back. You know, I think that words of wisdom, words of encouragement that you've given to our audience out there is real important. But let me take you into a step of the conversation where the economic conditions of our state just don't seem to improve. And when you're last in everything, it's hard for an African American business person or citizen to grow and to become all they can be, because you're in an environment that's just not doing well. And Mississippi remains last. What is it that causes that in your mind?
Mississippi remains last in many areas because of our attitude and because of what I refer to as public policies. And public policies is really what drives things. We individually have to find our niche. We, each community, have to find our niche and work within that to make the difference. I can look at Socrates, Garrett, and I've known you, again, since Alcorn, many, many years ago, but I have watched you as an adult and a mature person in the business community. And I've seen you have successes, I've seen you have failures, but I've never seen you give up hope. I've never seen you get to a situation where you say, Willie, they got me down, they got the knee on my neck, and I can't breathe, and I'm giving up, okay? If you can figure out a way how to get that knee off your neck, you've always done that. And in doing that, you've always been able to use that position that you was in kind of as a springboard to spring forward and come up with a new way of doing things. You may have to move out of the community for a minute. You may have to go underground for a minute, but you bounce back. We have to have that kind of attitude. And we need that attitude not just individually, though. We need that attitude collectively in our community. And I think this is prime time for it, because if you do an assessment of the dollars that's in the pipe, the dollars that's in the airways, and the dollars that the federal government and the money that's in the community, there is a lot of money in our Black community. The key is going to be, how do we process that? How do we get those individuals who are the recipient of the money, whether they be businesses or whether they be churches or whether they be individuals, those individuals who are receiving the $1,400, those individuals who are receiving the $300+ for their kids, how do they utilize those dollars, and how many times do they come into the Black community and spend that money, whether it be the business with $100,000 or $1 million, or whether it be the individual with the $1,400 or the individual with the $300 for their children in the way of a tax credit. How many times do they go into the Black community and spend those dollars so that those monies and dollars begin to turn over in the community? If you are looking at a place like Jackson, with the population that it has, if Jackson have the number of citizens that's going to receive the $1,400, and you multiply that times, say, 500,000 citizens in Jackson that receive that check, that's 500,000 down 1,400. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money
in the Black community.
Right.
Where is that money going to be expended? How will that money impact the Black community? And after that money is expended and the services are rendered, what the Black community is going to look like after that in the way of self-sustainability and empowerment and moving forward and causing more businesses come into the community.
Wow. You got to teach on how we do that. Now, I had a lot of help because, Willie, when you were in the Senate, I used to come to you and say, look, I want this project. I'm trying to do this project. I need the governor to not put his knee on my neck. If he just don't stop me, I believe I can get there because I have the relationships with the business community doing joint ventures and things of that nature. And I would come to you and I said, would you advocate for me on this project right here? And I remember once the Governor Haley Barbour told you that, asked you that do you know anybody other?
Exactly right. Because you harassed me.
Right.
You are on my case every day. And I think that's what a citizen ought to be. Okay? Here in Hinds County, City of Jackson, and Hinds County Board of Supervisors, between the two of them, they're going to be the recipient through this $1.9 trillion that President Biden is sending out and have sent out. They're going to be the recipient of $90+ million.
$90 million.
$90 million plus between the two, the city and the Board of Supervisors. One is getting about 44, the other getting about 42, 41, whatever the case may be, the city and the Jackson, and city and the county. Those dollars are going to be utilized for various services that are to be taken care of by the city and the county. The question becomes, and we over at the Department of Transportation had $118 million coming. However, the legislature hijacked ours, so ours not coming to us. We are hoping to get monies coming out of the infrastructure program. But whether it be the Board of Supervisors, the City of Jackson, or the Commissioner of Transportation, when those dollars hit our agencies and our entities, we then need to be looking at not how do we do anything improper, illegal, so that we end up in jail on the front page of the newspaper, but how do we utilize that to, one, rebuild and maintain the infrastructure in our community, but also how do we utilize those black businesses that are in our community so that we can grow the community. We can cause those dollars to turn over. Statewide, it's about $1.8 billion that's going to the counties and municipalities. We need to be looking at that and working it. How do we take that and utilize it? Now, again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't use other businesses. I think we have to, because oftentimes you may not be able to find a black business who can provide the services you need. So use those businesses. But all of those dollars that you have, the $1.8 billion coming into the state, to the counties and municipalities, the $90+ million coming into Hinds County, between Hinds County and Jackson, and the money is going to come to the Department of Transportation. At the end of the day, we should all be able to look back and say, as a result of that, our infrastructure, our health care, our education system are far better, but our business community are far better, so that we can build the Black Wall Street in Jackson, Mississippi.
How many of our leaders have the same mindset and are articulating that thought process that after these dollars come in our community, we should have made a significant improvement in the quality of life of the African American community because these dollars flowed in? How many of your peers are having that conversation?
I think there are many. I think many of us are having that conversation. Many of us are talking about where those businesses and those businesses out there ready to take advantage of it. Many of us are talking about where those dollars, whether it be the $1,400 or the $300, are being expended. Collectively, we must talk about that, and we shouldn't just be pointing fingers, but we should be raising the question and challenging each other so that we remove that hopelessness that you talked about earlier, so that we create hope and we create opportunities and we incentivize individuals for doing it, because when that happens, you're going to see the churches benefit because tithe and offerings are going to go up. There's going to be a need to grow the church. There's going to be a need to create businesses around the church. The entire community is going to do better because we decided to manage those dollars and utilize them in a manner that's going to be beneficial. Infrastructure is huge, it's big, it's going to cost a lot.
We're here with Commissioner Willie Simmons. In the state of Mississippi, we have the two highest ranking African American elected officials, Congressman Benny Thompson, and next would be Commissioner Willie Simmons. We're going to talk about the size of their budget coming back.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Welcome to the Adventurous Podcast. I'm your host, Deidre Perry, and these are my co-hosts. And weekly, we will be coming to you to bring you the latest information in the world of agriculture. We invite you to join us every Saturday from 10 to 10:30. Join us. Come on, take an adventure.
Hill Hoppers, the Black Wall Street Digital Financial Revolution National Bus Tour, led by cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, NFT expert Naja Roberts. The informational rally is to provide you with info on the digital wallet and cryptocurrency. Naja Roberts will be here on Tuesday, May 4th, 3 p.m. at Socrates Garrett Enterprises, 2659 Livingston Road, Jackson, Mississippi. Bring your rally signs for equal pay, $15 minimum wage, and mask up. Build wealth, build self, build community. Black Cash Matters. The revolution will be digitized. Follow us on Instagram at Black Cash Matters, at Hill Hopper, at Naja Roberts, at Navon Love, at 2KGPR. Join the community and the movement, theblackwallstreet.com. Thank you to the brand partners Crypto Blockchain Plug, Crypto Kids Camp, Socrates Garrett Enterprises, and WeBelieveDigital.com.
Commissioner, we're back. We were talking about the power and the influence that we have in the state of Mississippi. One individual, the highest ranking African American elected official in our state is Congressman Bennett Thompson. And then right after Congressman Bennett Thompson, Commissioner, it would be yourself. I would consider the two of you to manage and have the greatest influence of any elected officials in our state that are African Americans. And so how do we take advantage of the position that Congressman Thompson now holds since the Democrats won the election on the national scene?
Congressman Thompson and I go way back. And matter of fact, Congressman Thompson and I talked just prior to my coming to be on your radio show. And we're talking about the very thing that you're speaking of, and that's how do we go forward and take advantage of all the opportunities that's going to be out there. But for you and your listeners who don't know it, Congressman Thompson and I was in high school together down at Utica, Mississippi, referred to as the Hinds County Agricultural High School. Congressman Thompson graduated and went to Tougaloo College. I graduated and went to Alcorn State University, where I met you. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot in common, the three of us. My going to Alcorn, your being at Alcorn, and we kind of follow each other around and doing the things we've done. The Congressman Thompson, he takes credit for sending my wife from Tougaloo to the Mississippi Delta, where I met her and married her of all these years. So, you know, it's a great feeling to be able to look back at Utica Hinds County Agricultural High School and remember Congressman Thompson being there and my being there, and now we are where we are, in a position hopefully to make a big difference in what's going to happen with Mississippi going forward. Mississippi as a whole, but in particular, how we make sure that dollars are put into places that they may not have been put into in the past. Dollars are put in the hands of individuals that they may not have been put into in the past. And as a result of that, we're going to make a difference. That's a commitment that the Congressman and I have talked about. We are constantly communicating now and talking about how do we make this work. And I want to just say how grateful I am to the Congressman for being in the position that he is in. His budget is much larger than mine. He's chairman of Homeland Security, and he has a great working relationship with the president and the vice president of these United States. He is good friends of the congressmen who have a lot of influence with it. So I look for great things to come from Congressman Thompson and his commitment and his fight throughout the years for the things that make a difference in our community is going to just get greater. So, Congressman Thompson, if you're listening, let me just say thank you. We appreciate you. We love you for what you have done, and we love you for what you're going to do in the future.
Talking about the congressman, I didn't understand the nature of the lawsuit that he filed against former President Trump. Did you understand the meaning behind that? Exactly what was it that the congressman wanted to accomplish?
When I saw him on MSNBC talking about his lawsuit and what they were doing, I understood it. And because what he was doing, he was bringing forward cases that had been tested, cases that have gone to court, and we came out the winner as a result of that. And he was bringing that to play and putting it to test to see how much damage and or harm that the president may have done and been involved in. So, we'll see how that all go. But the congressman graduated from Tougaloo College. My wife graduated from Tougaloo College. Alcorn produced great students, but so does Tougaloo.
Yeah, absolutely. My mother graduated from Tougaloo as well. So, I believe in the Eagle Queen.
Yes.
And so now we're talking about you. The history books will tell and will show that Willie Simmons, are you a junior?
Oh, no.
Okay.
My dad was named Henry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Willie Simmons made history, and you've made a lot of history in a lot of different fronts, from the beginning, as you said, coming out of that environment. But you served in the Senate as an outstanding senator, and I believe your desk mate back in the early days was Senator Barbara Blackman, and the two of you were champions there. And I know that you served on the Correction Commission, the committee that ran the Corrections Department at one time. You moved over to Transportations and Appropriations. So you've been a history maker, a major player in this process for a long, long time. And then you are the first African American, I believe, that has ever held a position of commissioner in our state. I believe there are only three commissioners.
True.
Okay, tell us how the Department of Transportation is run, and the commissioner's form of government. How does that work?
I thought I was a big timer being a senator. 26 years I served in the Senate. And again, the last 10 years is my being in the Senate. I was the person who put together the budget for the Department of Transportation. I was the chairperson of the committee that brought their budget to the Senate to get it passed and put into law. So I thought that was very important. And it was important, okay? But in that, I also learned that after leaving the Department of the State Senate and becoming the Transportation Commissioner, that position was even more significant in that we allocate. And there's a difference. When you appropriate, it means that you determine the amount of money that an individual or an entity or an agency is going to receive. And you come up with a budget, or they come up with a budget, submit it to you, and you convince the other senators to pass that appropriation and send the money to them. When you become a commissioner, it's only 3 individuals. In the legislative process, it's 174, 52 senators and 122 House members. And you got to convince those 52 senators and House members to just agree to let you appropriate that amount of money to send to someone else. As commissioner for the Department of Transportation in the state of Mississippi, there are 3 of us: Northern District Commissioner, Southern District, and Central. Those 3 commissioners have pretty close to 1 million citizens living within the district. In the Central District, I have 1.1 million citizens, 22 counties, representing the poorest area, in the Delta, going all the way over to the Alabama line. Very, very huge challenge, because when I walk into the situation, I find that so often we look at what was done on the eastern part of the district, very low, over around Lauderdale County, Noxubee, Kemple. Then you come back to the Mississippi Delta on the west side, you see even less that's been done. So my challenge then become, as the allocator, the person who is deciding where the money is going to be expended, what highways are going to be taken care of, who the contractors are. I'm now in a position as one of 3 to help make those kind of decisions. That's a big difference from being the appropriator and the allocator. I think it is a position that I have been blessed by Heavenly Father and the voters of the Central District to serve in that capacity, and to be able to serve in that capacity at this particular time when our infrastructure is in such great need of repair, but also because of the COVID-19 and all the other things that are going on, we now have an administration in Washington, D.C. that's saying that we must address infrastructure. And two of the things that they're saying about addressing infrastructure is that they want to put the monies there to take care of infrastructure, not just for highways and bridges, but also for your water and sewage and other kinds of infrastructure things that need to be taken care of.
Hold that thought right there for just a moment, and I want you to tell us how large a budget you actually allocate when we come back. You're listening to WeBelieveDigital.com. We are broadcasting worldwide. Please stay tuned right after this commercial.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Welcome to the Adventurous Podcast. I'm your host, Deidre Perry, and these are my co-hosts. And weekly, we will be coming to you to bring you the latest information in the world of agriculture. We invite you to join us every Saturday from 10 to 10:30. Join us. Come on, take an adventure.
Hill Hoppers, the Black Wall Street Digital Financial Revolution National Bus Tour, led by cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, NFT expert Naja Roberts. The informational rally is to provide you with info on the digital wallet and cryptocurrency. Naja Roberts will be here on Tuesday, May 4th, 3 p.m. at Socrates Garrett Enterprises, 2659 Livingston Road, Jackson, Mississippi. Bring your rally signs for equal pay, $15 minimum wage, and mask up. Build wealth, build self, build community. Black Cash Matters. The revolution will be digitized. Follow us on Instagram at Black Cash Matters, at Hill Hopper, at Naja Roberts, at Navon Love, at 2KGPR. Join the community and the movement, theblackwallstreet.com. Thank you to the brand partners Crypto Blockchain Plug, Crypto Kids Camp, Socrates Garrett Enterprises, and WeBelieveDigital.com.
Commissioner, we're back, and you were talking about the allocation of those funds for various project infrastructure and bridges and things of that nature, and you mentioned that you now have to decide who gets the contracts and things of that nature. Tell us a little bit more about that process.
It's a process where we received the budget this year of $1.1 billion.
Now let me make sure I heard that correctly, because we're in the poorest state in the nation, but that department, the highway department, received a budget of
$1.1 billion with a B dollars.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but not enough, because we need about another $3 billion to just maintain the highway mile lanes that we have and the bridges. So it is a lot of money, but nowhere near what we need to do what we need to do. But with that $1.1 billion, we take about $600 million of that, and we put into contract services, referred to as professional services. And in the professional services, you get in the way the purchasing right-of-ways, the person who put that together, the legal, as well as your engineering, and other kinds of things that we do from a professional services. And we create what is referred to as a master list, where we put those professionals, entities that apply and are qualified to go on that master list, and then we pull from that master list when we get ready to award a contract, and we award contracts to individuals that's on that master list, those professional contractors. Okay. Then we have the others that are bigger and spend much more money. Those are your contracts dealing with your highways and your bridges and other things that we do in maintaining and taking care of the infrastructure system from a transportation point of view in the state. A lot of money that we expend. I get excited sometimes because it looks like every meeting we have, we spending $50 to $100 million. And I'm looking at it and said, my God, I was talking to a person one day and they was telling me about something they wanted to do. And they said to me that, I said, well, how much money you going to need? They said about $10 million. And I looked at them and I said, that's not a lot of money. Now, it didn't register with what I was saying to them until I walked away. And I said, my God, you came out of the cotton field in Mississippi. Right. And you got the nerve to tell somebody $10 million is not a lot of money. Right. What's wrong with you?
Right, okay? Right.
But it's that kind of thing because of the position that you are put in as commissioner, again, responsible for allocating the money. And we go through the process, procurement process, where you have to be qualified and you bid on the various projects and we award the contracts.
So other states organized similarly? Are there commissioners like in Alabama and Tennessee? Do they do it differently?
They do it differently in that most states have an appointed individual. They may be called the secretary or they may be called something else that's appointed by the governor or the legislative body, or to run the Department of Transportation. Here in Mississippi, we still have an elected process where we, the commissioners, which I think is good, we have to come to you and say, Socrates, I think I can be a good commissioner, and I will work towards making the infrastructure system in the state of Mississippi, and in particular in your community, better, if you choose to support me. And then you go to the poll and you vote me in. If I get elected, then you can hold me accountable, because in 4 years, I have to come back to you and say, Socrates, how did I do? And you look at my report card and say, Willie, you made D's and F's. I'm going to look for another candidate.
Right. Right. So it's in other states, it's a department that the governor runs, like corrections.
Exactly.
But in Mississippi, you guys are autonomous in that you are elected. And how did an African American get elected in the first place to that position? It's never been done before. So how did you do that?
Because of individuals like you. Over the years, Willie Simmons worked hard. Willie Simmons attempted to build relationships. Willie Simmons attempted to be a person who did what he said he was going to do. Willie Simmons was a person who didn't necessarily look at a particular party, but looked at what it was that the community needed and worked towards bringing that together. So in 2018, when I decided to run for the position of Transportation Commissioner, I took the experience that I had in the Senate for 26 years. I took the 10 years that I had as chairperson of the subcommittee, appropriation, putting together the budget, and the 8 years for policy. I took that and I came back to individuals like you who I developed a relationship with and say, if you want a commissioner that based upon your past experience, that you can count on to do what he say that he's going to do, I'm your man. And if you elect me, then I'm going to work day and night to deliver on the things that I said I was going to do. You and hundreds of others, thousands of others, had faith and confidence in me. Our Heavenly Father blessed me in my age to allow my family to be supportive of me. And the family and I came out along with the blessing of our Heavenly Father to our friends like you and to the citizens and the voters. And the voters responded and say, we want him.
It's a testament to you. I believe your district has the same boundaries of that of the Public Utilities Commission.
Yes.
And I know we had an outstanding African American, Keitha Stamps, that ran in there for the Public Utilities Commission, Public Service Commission, whatever it's called. And you won, and he wasn't able to win in that district. So that's a testament to you. That means that it wasn't a super black district in order to get elected. We were not able to get Mike Espy elected to the Senate, and we all thought that he, as an African-American candidate, was a superb person and with all of the qualifications to hold that position, but we were unsuccessful in doing that. And quite frankly, Commissioner, we don't have a statewide elected African-American in the state of Mississippi today. But what's the makeup of the central district? Because at least you got 1/3. We didn't get a statewide, but we got 1/3 of the state when we got you elected as an African American. So what's the composition, the makeup of your district?
The majority of the district is black. It's about BVAP, right around 57%, about 54% Democrat. But I went after my base, the Democrat vote. I went after the black vote because the black voters always supported me, regardless to where I was running for the school board or for the state senate for the 26 years I served. So I felt comfortable with that base, with the Democrats and the black, and I went after it and continued to work towards being supportive of it. But I didn't limit myself to that. I got a phone call one day, and they told me that Rankin County, which is a super Republican county, and they told me they was having a breakfast over in Rankin County for candidates that was running. And I said, I'm on my way. And they said, you going to Rankin County? And I said, there are votes in Rankin County. So I went over, and as a result of my being involved in going into Rankin County, I got a significant number of votes out of Rankin County. There are Democrats in Rankin County. So I wasn't going to write those Democrat voters off simply because it is a supermajority Republican county. I was going into 22 counties, and I was advocating for Willie Simmons to be the next commissioner because I was the best candidate on the ballot for the commissioner position. And hopefully the past 14 months has proven to the citizen in the Central District that they made the right choice.
Let's hold that thought right there. We are broadcasting live from Jackson, Mississippi, right here in We Believe Digital Broadcast Studio, where we're able to produce all of your commercials. We are able to have all of your shows like you're seeing this one here tonight, right here in this studio. We need your support. We appreciate the support that we've gotten this far. And we'll continue to bring outstanding examples of black excellence like we're having here tonight. Stay tuned for this commercial. We'll be right back.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Welcome to the Adventurous Podcast. I'm your host, Deidre Perry, and these are my co-hosts. And weekly, we will be coming to you to bring you the latest information in the world of agriculture. We invite you to join us every Saturday from 10 to 10:30. Join us. Come on, take an adventure.
Hello, friend.
Hill Hoppers, the Black Wall Street Digital Financial Revolution National Bus Tour, led by cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, NFT expert Naja Roberts. The informational rally is to provide you with info on the digital wallet and cryptocurrency. Naja Roberts will be here on Tuesday, May 4th, 3 p.m. at Socrates Garrett Enterprises, 2659 Livingston Road, Jackson, Mississippi. Bring your rally signs for equal pay, $15 minimum wage, and mask up. Build wealth, build self, build community. Black Cash Matters. The revolution will be digitized. Follow us on Instagram at Black Cash Matters, at Hill Hopper, at Naja Roberts, at Navon Love, at 2KGPR. Join the community and the movement, thebblackwallstreet.com. Thank you to the brand partners Crypto Blockchain Plug, Crypto Kids Camp, Socrates Garrett Enterprises, and WeBelieveDigital.com.
Commissioner, we're back. I want to continue that conversation. You said that the district is about 57% African American. I believe research shows that a district needs to be 60% plus for an African American to get elected. So, are you saying to me that you were able to get white support in the election that you had to win this seat?
We had white support. We had a majority of black support, but we did have white supporters who supported us. And again, I think it goes back to the relationship and the message that we were able to put out to talk about. We had 22 counties, and we were going to be present and active in 22 counties in the district, that we was going to push for dollars. One of the first things we were able to do, we have a situation up in the Mississippi Delta, Highway 82. And there's an area referred to as the Leland Greenville bypass. That bypass project has been on the books for about 20 years, but it was never anything done with it. It was just on the books, no funding. By April 1st, after being sworn in on January the 7th, by April 1st, we were looking at getting the monies to fund that project. And we were successful in being able to do that because we were committed to doing it. So we did an application to the federal government, and we got $71 million. Wow. The total project is $144 million. The state committed the additional $73 million. We now have a $144 million project that we're going to let sometime in the early fall of this year to complete a project that should have been on the books for all that time. We're looking at Cleveland County, Port Gibson, the Highway 61, the only part of the 87 highway program that has not been completed. We're looking at completing that project. We are talking to the congressman, and we are hoping that when we get the dollars coming down from the federal government, that we're going to do something for the western part of the state of Mississippi to build what I'm referring to as the West Corridor. That West Corridor, Socrates, is going to start in Memphis, Tennessee, where you have Beale Street, you have Stax Record, and you have Graceland with Elvis Presley. But then you leave there and you come through the Mississippi Delta, and you have Charlie Patton, the father of the blues. You have W.C. Handy, the founders of the blues who formed it. And you have B.B. King, you have Denise LaSalle, you have Muddy Waters. You come on down to Vicksburg, and you have Willie Dixon, who played with Highland Wharf. So that Highway 61 is going to be that West Corridor that connects and bring that culture together, as well as creating safe highways and creating economic development along the western part of the state. But we're not going to end there. We're going to take 27 when we get to Vicksburg, and we're going to four-lane it over to Highway Interstate 55. You now have that corridor coming from Memphis to 55, and when you turn right going south on 55 in Copiah County, you'll find Robert Johnson birthplace. And you go just south of there to Macomb, and you got Snoop Dogg, Bo Diddley, Brandy, Britney Spears. And then you fall off into New Orleans, and you got Bourbon Street. So you have connected Beale Street with Bourbon Street on a corridor that takes you through the history and the heritage of the Mississippi Delta, where is referred to what is referred to as the birthplace of America's music. And now the second Grammy Museum in the world, second to L.A., Los Angeles, California, is in Cleveland, Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta. That's the connection that you're going to have when we do that. So when we bring those dollars into the state and we build that, the western part of the state of Mississippi, to include Hinds County, is going to have a whole different outlook on life.
What a vision. What a vision. I was sitting here thinking, you know, I had the opportunity to be on the Natchez Trace this past Sunday. Just went for a ride. But I got to thinking about the Natchez Trace. And it came all the way from Nashville, all the way into Natchez. and what a historic route that is and was, and what it meant to economic development, and that at that time it was all a trading post for our Choctaw Nation.
Exactly.
You're talking about the same kind of revitalization, to have a corridor like that designated that way that connects Bill Street to
Bourbon Street.
To Bourbon Street.
The king of rock and roll, Elvis Graceland, to the king of the blues, and the prince of the blues in Miss Denise Sale, the princess of the blues. Denise Sale and the prince Muddy Waters,
right,
tied together, along with the Jerry Butlers and the Jimmy Reeves and the Sam Cooke and Ike Turner.
Wow. Just
on and on.
Wow. And when California may have Silicon Valley and things of that nature, but we have the richest culture. And I think that's what you're talking about now. All of the brilliant artists and the festivals and the lifestyles that of America and our culture is all represented there. And that's what we have to monetize in economic development, is what I hear you saying as well.
That's marketed. Right now, we have tourists coming from all over the world. Mm-hmm. They just don't come from America. Mm-hmm. They come from all over the world to the Mississippi Delta, searching for, because they want to walk the ground where B.B. King came from. They want to look at the cotton field where Muddy Waters came out of. Mm-hmm. They want to hear about Sam Cooke and how change is going to come, came out of Sam Cooke as he moved out of the Mississippi Delta. They want to hear and write and walk on the ground that did that. That's what this corridor is going to do, and it's going to connect it. Wow. Bourbon Street, the jazz. A guy by the name of Fats Domino, the blues. And then you're coming on back up 55 and into the Mississippi Delta. Socrates, that's a corridor that no other state can claim fame to, like we have in Mississippi.
Right. And it's a matter of embracing who we are and where our past and our culture.
Tell the story.
Tell the story is a wonderful story. It's a story of overachieving. I'm beginning to listen to a lot of country and western for some reason. I don't know why this is, but I'm beginning to, because their stories and their lyrics are just so intriguing, because it's about real things in their life and in their songs. And that's,
well, you know Charlie Pride and Conway Twitty, from Mississippi Delta, and they took the blues and turned it into a country song. Elvis Presley from Tupelo took the blues.
Elvis Presley from where?
Tupelo. Took the blues.
I thought Elvis Presley was from Memphis.
Elvis Presley was born in Tupelo.
Wow.
His Graceland home is Memphis, but he originated in Tupelo, put on blue suede shoes, and turned the blues into rock and roll that he sung. That's the story that must be told. That's the trail that must be followed. That's the route that will be taken as you travel this west quarter in the state of Mississippi.
Wow, what a vision. And we have a gentleman here that has been able to pull things off in the past, and I know if anybody can do this, that you or I got to do it. Real quick, our show is about to wrap up, but what is your goal? What dollar amounts would you like to put in the African American community during your leadership in the commissioner seat?
I don't want to set a goal. I want to say that we want to put as many dollars as we can absorb and put into the black business community, and we want those dollars to turn over. When we put a contract in Socrates Garrett's hand, we want Socrates Garrett to reach back and pull other black businesses into the fold.
Right. Well, I tell you, I know that there's more money coming in our community from the stimulus standpoint that we're talking about now. And I know that we're having meetings with the school superintendents, and we're having meetings with the mayor, and we're having meetings here with the powerful commissioner. And when the African American leadership comes together, you have to come together to craft a plan, just like the vision you just laid out and articulated. you got to craft that plan and lay out that vision on how we're going to improve the quality of life. In
that regard, when I talk to Congressman Thompson, I'm telling Congressman Thompson and the other congressional delegation that Mississippi, regardless to what New York, California, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Louisiana are going to get, Mississippi should get $10 billion from the infrastructure program, and you give $3 billion of that to each of the 3 commissioners. You put another $1 million into your airports, into your public transit, into your ports, okay? You give me $3 billion to put into the Central District, and we're going to build the West Corridor. We're going to come into the city of Jackson, and we're going to help the city of Jackson with its infrastructure program, because the city of Jackson is the capital city, and the infrastructure has to be one that's in the best position to receive and accept the Amazons and the other businesses that's coming into the state of Mississippi. Because, see, when those corporate folks fly into the state of Mississippi looking at making a decision, the governor has to bring them down to the capital and bring them to the mansion. And he needs to be riding on good streets, good infrastructure. He doesn't need water shooting up out of the ground trying to convince the chairman of Amazon or some of those big industry that they should come to Mississippi. He needs a good infrastructure system. So we're going to be working towards that. We also going to take a look at places like Noxubee County and Kemper County and Lauderdale County and Scott County and Newton County. We're going to take a look at Interstate 20 at Vicksburg, Mississippi. In Warren County, because Interstate 20 has some of the worst interchanges that you have seen in trying to get on and off of it. But in addition to that, there's so much traffic coming across the Mississippi River, we need to add a couple lanes on Interstate 55 around Bovina and Vicksburg. So give me $3 billion, and we're going to work our magic to do a lot of good things for the Central District, and that will take care of a lot of businesses in the state of Mississippi, to include our disadvantaged businesses and black businesses.
Senator, Commissioner, it's been a pleasure having you here this evening. We're going to have you back. Our community needs to hear from you. The world needs to hear from you. To have visions, have a plan, a succinct plan that you can articulate, and then subscribe to making it happen. Is the kind of visionary leadership that's going to be required to change the status that we currently don't enjoy, but we hate the fact that we're not doing well as a state. But that kind of leadership is what's going to be required. So I hope you'll come back and join us to continue this conversation.
I'll come back, and it was my pleasure to meet you at a great university called Alcorn State University. Because I think Alcorn instilled a lot in you and me, and I'm grateful to be able to call you my brother from Alcorn.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Socrates, Garrett Live. Join us next Tuesday for an informative show with another example of black excellence. Until that time, stay tuned, stay safe. Good night.
Hill Hoppers, the Black Wall Street Digital Financial Revolution National Bus Tour, led by cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, NFT expert Naja Roberts. The informational rally is to provide you with info on the digital wallet and cryptocurrency. Naja Roberts will be here on Tuesday, May 4th, 3 p.m. at Socrates Garrett Enterprises, 2659 Livingston Road, Jackson, Mississippi. Bring your rally signs for equal pay, $15 minimum wage, and mask up. Build wealth, build self, build community. Black Cash Matters. The revolution will be digitized. Follow us on Instagram at Black Cash Matters, at Hill Hopper, at Naja Roberts, at Navon Love, at 2KGPR. Join the community and the movement, theblackwallstreet.com. Thank you to the brand partners Crypto Blockchain Plug, Crypto Kids Camp, Socrates Garrett Enterprises, and WeBelieveDigital.com.